Hey, good day, everybody. My name is Kyle Longacre. I'm the program administrator for the MontcoWorks NOW program with Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Welcome to our fourth of our MontcoWorks NOW Industry Insights series. We are happy to have with us Rachel Riley from the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, and we want to continue to focus and spotlight on hospitality and tourism and the many related companies, nonprofits, businesses related to this significant industry here within Montgomery County. The MontcoWorks NOW Industry Insights series is sponsored by a partnership between Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, the MontcoWorks NOW Workforce Board, and the funding comes through a business education partnership grant from the state of Pennsylvania. So we're appreciative of this funding, and we encourage all of our attendees and our viewers to watch all of our videos that are available on the MontcoWorks NOW YouTube channel, be able to share this with students, teachers, counselors, parents across Montgomery County. I'd like to introduce my co-facilitator for this, Hakeem Jones. Hakeem.
Hey, good day, everybody. So I'm Hakeem Jones. I'm one of our career counselors here at MontcoWorks NOW. I spent over 10 years working in workforce development, both on the youth and adult side. Currently working with young people and young adults, which is truly rewarding. It's also a great thing to introduce students to different careers and activities. Both traditional careers and even up-and-coming careers. So we're glad to host these sessions on a weekly basis and hope that our students and our educators get something positive out of it.
And Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. So my name is Rachel Riley. I am Director of Communications at the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. For those who don't know, we're the destination marketing organization for the entire Montgomery County area, so not just Valley Forge. I will explain a little bit about, more of who we are and what we do. But basically, we try to get folks to come and visit the county and stay overnight. And I'm actually a former journalist. So I was in journalism for 10 years. First in print and then digital, and I launched a video platform with the news organization that I was with before going into tourism. I did not want to be a journalist. I found the news depressing, but I found myself in a situation where I liked the idea that people needed to hear the truth and they needed someone to have a voice for those who maybe didn't have a voice. And so that's why I got into it. And then I just wanted to settle down and, I'm a mom, have a family, and I wanted to do something a little bit more fun and less depressing. And I had worked with the tourism folks, and it's definitely a fun industry. And so just wanted to do something that was a little bit more positive for me. And that was a better fit. So I actually came from the Visit Bucks County Tourism Agency, came to Montgomery County because I live here and I love Montgomery County. And so, yeah, so that's where I am now.
Well, Rachel, we are really pleased that you're able to join us. And just a side note here, Hakeem Jones was also a marketing communications major at West Virginia. Am I correct, Hakeem?
Yes, public relations journalism. And like you, Rachel, I started out in print media, but I wanted to be more out in the community. So I switched over to the public relations side, which allows me to do everything that I love to do.
I can definitely relate to that. My girlfriend told me for years, you should get into PR because I do like meeting new people and talking with people. And for years, I'm a former journalist. We usually aren't big fans of PR people. And so I was like, no, you don't know what you're saying. And then I got into it and I loved it. And she's like, I told you. Yeah. And she was right.
Well, definitely. And I served as a news editor on my college newspaper and an editorial writer my senior year. And I wrote a student editorial for the Phillies in the 1993 World Series that came in second place in the state of Indiana. So that is my limited journalism background here, but we all share this. And I do want to stress this for our viewers. Journalism, communications, writing is a skill set that is highly valued no matter what industry we talk to, no matter what line of work, no matter what business, highly valued skill. And I've shared this with you before, Rachel. The Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board is something that we are incredibly proud of as a county. Among all the workforce partners, the economic development partners, you and your team do an outstanding job continuing to promote and tell a positive story. And so we look forward to your presentation here today. I'm glad that we're able to share this with our viewers and with our many students and counselors and teachers across the county. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share a screen and you can start working your way through your presentation, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle and Hakeem.
Yep. And one last check here. Sorry, we're good. Okay.
So you can go ahead and go to the next slide, Kyle. Thank you. So just going to tell everybody a little bit about the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, who we are and what we do. You can go to the next slide there, Kyle. The reason that we associate with the name Valley Forge, despite the fact that we cover the entire county, is the numbers and the states that you're seeing in front of you. There are actually 18 Montgomery counties in the United States, including the one in Pennsylvania. So to avoid any confusion, we identify with the Valley Forge name, which is nationally and internationally known, because there's only one. So we still do promote the entire county. We just use that moniker for the name recognition and association. Next slide. And our mission and our vision, like I said, our job as the destination marketing organization is to get folks to visit and specifically stay overnight. We want to inspire the world to fall in love with Montgomery County, PA. And our vision is to make Montgomery County a must-experience destination that's rooted in the past and leading the future. We kind of already feel like it is, but we do work that continues to promote the area and also see what else we can bring here to really make it such a desirable destination so that folks will want to come and stay overnight. And the reason for that overnight, I keep saying that, is we are funded by the hotel tax. So when you visit or go somewhere, you probably notice on your bill, or maybe you haven't noticed, but you are charged an occupancy tax usually where you go. And depending on the county or the state that you're in and how their taxes work, that funding probably funnels through to something like our organization, which uses the money to market the county, the state, the city, what have you, to get folks to come back. And we do that in a couple different ways, and I'm going to tell you about that through this presentation. You can go to the next slide. We are membership based, so we do promote the whole county, but we do have members, and you can see we're at 650, and we are continuing to grow. And throughout this presentation, I will talk a little bit about how COVID has impacted that. Obviously, a lot of our members are small local businesses, and so they might not have the budget this year to, keep that membership up. But we have tried to offer deals and things throughout the year to give them a break, because of course we understand how COVID has impacted pretty much all of us. Next slide. Tourism is normally a key economic driver in Montgomery County, PA, as you can see. So these numbers are from 2018. They're similar from 2019. They went down just a little bit, but spend in Montgomery County is $1.65 billion in a year on tourism. And that includes overnight stays, but it also includes things like retail, restaurants, those sort of things, anything that someone would do when they come stay overnight for a meeting, for a sports tournament, or even just leisurely. And we also account for 4% of all the jobs in the county, which is more than 20,000. So we are a big employer, our industry in Montgomery County, and of course, a big economic impact in the area as well. Next slide. So I was talking about the different ways that we sell or try to attract folks to come to the county. So there's two sides to our organization, the sales side and the marketing side. So sales, as you can see, we do have at least one more team member. We had some layoffs due to COVID, temporary and permanent, sadly. So we've been slowly but surely trying to bring some folks back. So there is one more person that's not on this slide because she just came back. But our team tries to work together to do things like you can see, go to trade shows when we're allowed to. We've been doing that virtually right now, to talk to clients, meeting planners, that sort of thing, to get them to come host their event, their meeting, their sports tournament in Montgomery County. And then we do things all along the way. As you can see, we might bring them here for site visits to, help entice them. We might do sponsorships with certain organizations. We have events for our clients. We provide services like welcome bags or help facilitating finding hotels if they have large groups. We do have rewards programs to provide incentives, and we work with, third-party planners and vendors too. So lots happening on that side, and that segment goes to everything from sales and corporate to weddings to what's called Smurf, which is basically everything else that's not those two categories, sports, or it's like religious associations, state associations, any group that's going to want to come together and have a large scale event with a group of people. And then sports is actually really huge in Montgomery County. We have several sports facilities where we host a lot of tournaments. Next slide. And one thing I will say about sports too, with COVID, obviously hundreds of events were canceled, which means thousands of room nights and millions of dollars were lost this year. And I know that's the case across the board for lots of businesses and industries, but sports has proven to be recession proof, specifically youth sports. And again, like I said, we have a lot of facilities. So we still, as far back as like June, have still been able to host sports tournaments this year in 2020. And we have a lot more booked for next year as well. One of the things that we did when COVID happened on the sales side was to try to make it easier and safer for meeting planners to plan an event here in Montgomery County. So we created this concept of Montco Wellness for events. We had previously had a brand called Montco Wellness, which was all about things you could do to unwind in the county. We now have kind of rebranded that to be Venture and Unwind, because there involves some adventure in there too. But basically, we wanted meeting planners to know that when they come here, this is like an information portal. They can get information about COVID, current data, what the guidelines are, what folks are doing, how to stay healthy, different activities, dining options, and what to expect there. And then, of course, how to make it Montco, which is our hashtag that we use, and other ways they can explore the county and have fun, besides whatever event that they're coming here to do. Next slide. And then we have the marketing side. So I'm the director of communications. I oversee our public relations, so relating to all the press and the media, our social media, and we do have a social media manager in-house. She manages all of our accounts. I also see our communications, our messaging, presentation, speaking. I serve as a spokesperson for the organization. So anything to do with telling that story. And I know Kyle and Hakeem were kind of talking about this. I did enjoy news when I was a journalist, and I think there's a lot to be said for journalism. It's an industry that I really respect, and we need that now, I think, more than ever. But unfortunately, print especially is kind of a slowly dying industry. And that's one of the reasons I got out of it. But the great thing about PR and communications is everybody needs it, whether they want it or not. They do need it. You need someone, at least one person in your organization, who knows how to craft messaging, tell your story, be your advocate, for good things and for bad things. You've got to be prepared to make statements on difficult and challenging situations just as much as the positive ones. On our marketing team, we also have a director of business development. So she handles some of our marketing, as well as we have a co-op program. So our members benefit from our organization by getting like discounted rates on ads or things like that. We have an in-house website manager, that's Maureen DeLello. So she manages our website. Anything to do with tech, we also have a couple of free mobile apps that she works with as well. I already mentioned Sam. Jared Spackman's our creative designer. So the beautiful slides that you're seeing, he helps put those types of things together, as well as our advertising, a lot of our brand logos. So I'm sure you're seeing, even from the sales side or this side, there's lots of types of jobs within this industry. And this is just our organization. There are so many other types of jobs, from hotels, other hospitality, restaurants, to retail. So lots of things to do. And then, of course, Monty, our mascot, he's a fox. He's super fun. I'm going to tell you more about him in just a minute, but he's our official mascot for Montgomery County, and he is certainly an important key member of our team as well. Next slide.
I'm just going to interject real quick, Rachel. I really appreciate you naming those different areas. And I was making a list here of middle and high school courses that our students in our public and public schools might be taking: graphic design, marketing, video production, digital media. We know that we have hundreds, thousands of our middle and high school age students. In some cases, there's some really innovative elementary age students that are taking these types of classes. And you said it, I want to hit it again with emphasis. The team at the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board do it as well as anybody I've seen do it. They put together great branding, great logo, and a positive message time and time again. So I'll let you continue from there, and we'll go on.
No, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate the positive feedback and the kind words. And besides those courses that Kyle mentioned, even social media too, and anything to do with creating content, whether that's for social, whether that's for, writing stories, public relations, or news, or web. Web writing is certainly different too. So all those things are important and are great courses to take, and skills to have. I know it sounds so simple, but if you can read, write, and speak, you're good. Those are really important skills to have, at least in what I'm doing. And I think just in general, but definitely for communications and PR. So again, I talked about that brand, that overarching Valley Forge brand, and why we use that moniker. But we also have sub brands to represent, because there's so much to do in Montgomery County. There's such a variety. We want to make sure that folks know that there is that variety, and then also that we do still tie to the entire county, not just Valley Forge. So we have everything representing our revolutionary events, which is like our corporate meetings brand, to sports, to weddings. But we also have things like our Montco makers, which I'll talk a little bit about. That's breweries, wineries, and distilleries, to golf, to shopping, to Embark, which is our pet-friendly brand and logo, to Crave, which is our dining, to arts. We have 200 arts and culture venues here in Montgomery County, to a couple of the events we do, like Rev Run. So again, lots to do and see, which means we need to offer that variety in different ways, but still connect it back to the entire county, not just Valley Forge. Next slide. And one of the ways that we try to drive overnight visitation is through hotel packages. So we normally do like a summer and a winter hotel package. And part of the reasoning for that is trying to hit visitors at either peak times or at times when we know it might be slower, and offering them incentives to come here. So basically how it works is, if someone books an overnight stay in Montgomery County using this hotel package, they get access to a coupon booklet that offers them up to like $300 worth in deals. And it might be like a free appetizer at a restaurant, or 20% off at a retail store, different things like that. Now for COVID, what we did was we still put together a hotel package. We started a little later. Instead of Memorial Day, we started in June, around the first day of summer. And then instead of having a physical coupon booklet, because we know people might be concerned about having to touch something or vice versa, we did it exclusively digitally online through our Visit Valley Forge app, which is free. So when they booked the hotel room, they got a code, they would go onto our app, put in that code, and then that's how they get access to those deals. And we also did one for golf as well, because in Montgomery County, we have 50 golf courses, which is 300,000 yards of play. So again, that's another type of position or role that is still tied to tourism and hospitality, which is golf courses. And we've got tons of them. Next slide. And so what we do when we come up with a package like this, or a brand, or a different campaign, is we put together a marketing plan behind it. And so for this summer and into the fall and the holidays, we've been working with TripAdvisor, Expedia, as you can see, Golf Now, and Hotels.com. And we largely did digital, which was a first for the organization in quite a few years. We usually do a media buy plan that's, TV, radio, digital, lots of different things, print. But this year we really focused on digital and social. So the social boosted ads we did in-house, and then the digital, we worked with those, well-known, very familiar brand partners that you see there. And we found a lot of success with doing, those ads, and that way we could target them. It was easier to manage. We knew when they were going out. We could change them at the last minute, especially when with quarantine and different states having travel restrictions that were changing, it felt like every day. We could make those changes very quickly and easily and simply. And again, going back to some of those skills, if you're good with tech, with apps, with social, with website stuff, especially the back end, that is a really required and really, that's a great skill to have if you have that ability. Next slide. Make It Main Street is one of our latest initiatives. And basically what we did was we partnered with the county and the county commerce department. And we realized that a lot of businesses, of course, have been impacted by COVID-19. And a lot of these places are small local spots that sadly might not reopen. They might not be able to, or, they just don't know how they're going to survive and thrive. So we really are putting an emphasis on shopping small and local. And we partnered with them. This campaign is funded through the CARES Act through the county. And that's why we partnered with them. And we are really just putting that focus again on the small local businesses. So we have a website, we've got social for this, we've got PR, and we've got videos, which I'll show, Kyle will show in just a second. And we're really just going to keep pushing these stories out there so people, connect emotionally with some of these store owners. It's their neighbors. It's, these people have families. They, they have livelihoods that they depend on from their business. So it's really important that we help them out during these tough times. So Kyle, if you want to show the first video right now, that's the commercial that we put together for this campaign.
They're not faces. They're your friends and neighbors. It's their small businesses, a beating heart that makes a neighborhood a home. The places with a pick-me-up or a story that inspires, where you can share a taste of comfort with the personal touch that makes our world shine a little brighter. Support small and make a big difference. Make it local. Make it Main Street. Make it Montco.
So again, that call to action to get folks to learn more about those shops so that, we can drive traffic to them and really hopefully boost, some economic impact for the region and jobs. That's really what it's also part of is, our organization experienced layoffs. I'm sure as a lot of folks out there know too. So did these small businesses and local businesses, and they might be a one-person operation right now doing everything. And they're not familiar necessarily with some of the things that they need to be doing. And that's where I think a lot of these young folks be really helpful, to have you guys come into this industry and show them how it's done. Because I'm sure a lot, even that we don't know in this organization, that we can learn from you.
And Rachel, if I can add, thank you for the presentation. It was great. Being somebody who was born and raised in Montgomery County, you mentioned that youth sports is huge. So I feel like many of our current high school students and young adults, and even myself, I identified with learning about the county just from traveling from, we have 21 school districts. So just from the travel through sports and meeting people outside of your own townships, your own community, I think now as an adult, you look back, you see these places developing and you see the overall connection. So I think young people have a great opportunity in this field. They're tech savvy. They love social media. Kids love to travel. So I think it just meets everything that they're interested in. And it's fast paced because I'm sure things are different every day, right? You want to touch on how your day-to-day looks?
Oh, every day is different. Absolutely. And even right now during COVID, we are still so busy. And part of that is because we used to be like a 28-person organization. We're less than half of that right now. So a part of that is just less people, still the same amount of work or even more, but we are trying to do everything we possibly can to still drive visitation, to drive economic impact. So every day is different. For me personally, throughout my week, there's lots of meetings, phone calls, still in person with mask, social distancing, of course, lots of Zooms right now, which is not normally the case, but it is right now. Other things for me, dealing with the press. I might get calls from the media at night, on the weekend, that sort of thing. Pitching the press, saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's some good stories out there that you can cover. To dealing with, I go to all of our municipalities throughout Montgomery County. We have 62 towns here, and I try to go to them and talk about who we are as an organization and what we do, so that we keep those lines of communication open and talk about how we're promoting their town or how we should be promoting their town and other things that we can do to help support them. I also oversee our social media. So as I said, Sam, she does the day-to-day, but we talk strategy, we talk budget, there's that sort of thing. And the VFTCB is also an organization that normally holds a lot of events. So there were two things I wanted to mention in terms of like careers and classes and skills, and even majors. Events is definitely one of them. That's huge for the tourism industry. If you like to organize things and coordinate things, projects, if you like to boss people around, that is a job for you. And we have someone here who does that. Sadly, we're not holding events right now, but we hope to be soon. And so that's a great career. But that video that we showed, that is a good skill to have. If you can do video, if you can do editing, if you can do photography, all of that is awesome to have in our industry, or really any industry, especially right now, because you need that content for your website, for social media, to get your message out there. So those are great skills to have too.
Just another question, actually something you might be able to share. We're a pretty great centralized area. We've had everything from the Pope come to visit. We've had, obviously we've had the NFL draft here in the region. And just being outside of Philadelphia, what kind of impact does what kind of opportunities do young people have just from being close to a large metropolitan city?
Oh, there's tons, especially in Montgomery County. So when you look at a comp set, would be a comparison between the tourism organizations in the area. So we usually go by like the 5-county regions. So you've got Delaware County, Chester, Bucks, Montgomery, and Philly. Montco's number 2 all the time. We are second to Philly in everything. And we're proud of that, because we're big. We're the 3rd largest county in the state, behind Philly and Allegheny County, which has Pittsburgh in it. So, we're right up there. We're competitive. There's definitely a lot of opportunity in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is really well known for its pharmaceuticals, I would say, too, and life sciences. I can't speak to that. My husband is a chemist, but not in Montco, but just outside of it in Lancaster. So there's definitely so much going on here. There's a lot of tech, a lot of innovation. I think the size of it, the fact that we are as big, if not bigger than some cities, actually some states, is definitely an advantage for young people. That means in Montgomery County, we have almost 30,000 businesses, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's massive. That's huge. That's tons of opportunities out there. Now, I know that's tough right now because all of those businesses are being impacted by COVID, including ours, but there's definitely so much opportunity. Part of the way we market and pitch Montco, including our sales side, is that close relation to Philly, because people can fly into Philly, drive into Philly, get a train into Philly, however you're going to get here. And we're like 18 miles from the city. So we're close enough to capitalize on some of opportunities that might tie together and might overflow out here, but we're far enough away that people can find space out here, enjoy the outdoors, social distance, especially right now. So I think there's amazing opportunities being so close to a city, yet not actually a city.
Well, let me just use that as an opportunity to remind our viewers that, again, this program, this Industry Insights program, is funded through the Business Education Partnership Grant. And Rachel, you and your team, this Make It Main Street theme, to me, just hits home so well to what we've been hearing and looking at. I know you have another video that you want to show, and we can pick back up with that. But just from the Workforce Board, from the Economic Development team, from all the chambers of commerce throughout Montgomery County, again, to be able to recognize that during difficult times, during the ebbs and flows, and especially during a very difficult stretch here with COVID mitigation efforts that are taking place, to be able to support our small businesses, to be able to support our small towns like this is really just a powerful theme. So we really, really appreciate that. Should I go ahead and show the second video, or?
Yeah, I'll give just a really quick background. So we obviously put together that commercial, kind of giving an overall summary. And then what we did was we put together these vignettes. And the company we worked with was 2020. Look them up, great media and advertising agency, award-winning. They do awesome stuff. So we took interviews with some of the places and really focused on those for about a minute so that they could tell their individual story, and really think they're very emotional and powerful and going to be really impactful, especially on social media. So take a look.
All right, very good. Well, I will direct you to our MontcoWorks Now YouTube channel, as well as the Visit Valley Forge YouTube channel, where you'll find many of these opportunities as well. But let's take a look at the second one.
You can't be don't see. I believe there's a big void in what Black children are able to see, and that's why I believe there's a big void in what they feel that they're able to be. Inside of the Black Reserve Bookstore is Black books, literature, everything from children all the way to adults, shea butter, we have incense, oil, apparel, jewelry. Everywhere Black people are, they should have things that they like in those places. So that was the motivation. In March, a very strange thing happened. People really got reacquainted with books and with literature, and that's what helped us stay afloat, people ordering books to read during the pandemic. Main Street is extremely important to not only me, but to the town. Most of the businesses are right here in the block that I'm in. The kinds of things that are talked about in here are amazing. Social issues, hard topics. It has become a hub. It's more than just a customer coming in and purchasing a book. I have personal relationships with my customers. My customers are loyal, and they become family. My name is Sheikh Anwar Muhammad, otherwise known as the Black Panther of Lansdale. I am the proprietor of the Black Reserve Bookstore.
So again, we're going to be using those individual stories to push out on social media and to the press. And we're doing blog stories as well about different businesses throughout the county. So stay tuned for more. We're definitely going to keep this going into early next year to, our goal, our hope is to help support some of these businesses, shed some light on them and get them some traffic, get them some foot traffic getting into their business to, again, stimulate jobs and some economic impact. Next slide. The other ways that we promote Montgomery County are through different publications and guides. Now, we normally do physical guides. We took a step back from that this year due to COVID, just because of cost. And also, again, people not wanting to necessarily be handed something or have to touch something. So we did a lot of these guides digitally, but normally we do an annual visitor's guide. Twice a year, we have a dining guide. Twice a year, we also do an arts guide. And then we have an award-winning Patriot Tales comic book. So it's a play on our Patriot Trails brand, which promotes the history and the fact that we have over a dozen historic sites, including, of course, the Valley Forge National Historical Park. And then we also have an annual Monco golf guide, again, to speak to those courses. So again, lots of those going digital and then promoting them on our free Visit Valley Forge mobile app. Next slide. We have our social media channels. Encourage anybody watching to, tag us, like us, interact with us, follow us. We have over 160,000 followers, very active on the channels you see here, and lots of social media views. And those are put together between like the edited pieces that you saw to Facebook Lives to some other, slightly cut videos that Sam, our social media manager, puts together. And again, our hashtag is MakeitMontco. So feel free to use that. And again, most of our handles are Visit Valley Forge, except for Twitter, which is Visit VF. Next slide. We do lots of pushing stories out about Montgomery County, as I said, and you can see this year, the number of articles that we had dipped a little bit. That's largely due in part to the fact that we didn't have as many events, and then broadcast media are the type that we lost because they weren't coming to those events because we couldn't have them. However, our reach and our exposure really went up, as you can see, to an increase of 35%, which then made our exposure completely explode to 320%. And part of the reasoning for that was we work with, lots of the local news stations, as you can see, media outlets, but we also partner. This year, we really targeted things like Yahoo and Forbes. And so, we might not have had as many articles, but we really increased the exposure and impressions that we were getting from those targeted pieces. Next slide. So I mentioned Monty before. He's Fox. He is, I think he's about 2.5 years old now, the face of Montgomery County. We introduced him a couple years ago as a fun, family-friendly way to experience the county, something fun for kids to associate with. Now, Monty normally travels around with our traveling kiosk. We go to lots of events and festivals throughout the county in some of those small towns and those main streets that you were hearing about. But this year, Monty's been hibernating a little bit, but we have gotten him out. As you can see, he was hanging out with Gritty. That was from this summer at the town center. Gritty came out. That was when the Flyers were still in the running in the playoffs. Sadly, they didn't make it. But we use Monty in lots of different things to promote our different brands in our marketing and just to have fun on social media. And, because Monty was really just so tired of everything going on, he really needed to get out. And Kyle, this is where we can show the other video. So what we did was we worked with Monty to really take back his weekend. And I'll let you guys watch and see what we did with him. So we had a little bit of fun there, trying to promote our hotel package for the fall and into the winter, but also I think we're all kind of feeling that COVID fatigue and, you know, tired of hearing, you know, just every day something in the news or different things. And we just wanted to give folks a reason to smile and laugh. And something that's also important about Monty too is he's not real. Right? Someone gets in the suit and we always need people in the suit. So if you are watching this and you are over the age of 18 and you have any experience in theater or performing, that's a bonus, that's a plus. But mostly if you're just willing to get into a hot furry costume and withstand heat, we do pay pretty well. And we always need a Monty. We're right now, again, obviously he's hibernating. Normally we use him for events. And so trying to keep everyone safe and healthy, of course, not a lot of opportunities currently, but there definitely, I hope will be next year when we have some more events happening. And again, I'm dead serious. That is something that we always need. We're always looking for a Monty, reliable people who, want to have fun, who are good with kids, who have their own car or mode of transportation, and again, don't mind putting on a fox costume of all things and being silly and having a little fun and engaging and interacting with people. It's not a speaking role. I
would like to nominate number one, Hakeem Jones, would be outstanding for this role, and then my two kids I think would love this type of thing right now as well. So it might not be quite game ready yet, but just keep them in mind down the road if possible.
Absolutely, love to.
Rachel, only if the gig includes, the different restaurants, the travel, and all the perks of Montgomery County. So otherwise, I don't want no parts of it.
First of all, Hakeem, I will hook you up with a tour, whatever you want or need. Okay, let me just tell you that. But when we have these events, usually we feed Monty. Let me just say that, and we feed really well. The food at our events is, Kyle, I'm sure you can vouch. We have really good food at our events.
I've dined from time to time, yes.
and drinks if Monty happens to be over the age of 21. So yeah, we will absolutely feed Monty, hydrate Monty. We try to keep him as cool as possible. We give him breaks, and so we take care of Monty. He's VIP. He's pretty important. All right, you can get to the
next slide here.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had mentioned before, Montco Makers, we have in Montgomery County more than 30 award-winning breweries, wineries, and distilleries. And I think lots of folks out there, you may or may not be familiar with the fact that lots of cities, counties, states have like an ale trail. And what we decided to do was, we do have a ton of breweries here. Some of the most in the region, but we also have those several wineries and the distilleries. Those are definitely some niche assets as well. So instead of focusing on a trail or a passport or different things, we came up with this Montco Makers brand because to us, the thing that makes Montco unique that you're not going to get anywhere else is the maker, the person crafting that cocktail and their story. And so what we did was, besides making it about that, we put together a mobile app, because we love technology at the VFTCB. And so there are different levels. So instead of having, that physical passport or going on a trail, we have those different levels that you see there. And as you check in on your mobile app at these different places, you start to earn points and then you get free swag. So like a t-shirt, a hat, and you go up the levels until at the top, it's like, could be a VIP tour of one of these places. In fact, our commissioner, Ken Lawrence, was one of our first to become a master maker, and he is going to be getting his VIP tour very soon. So it's really, it's just something fun. And then they refresh every year. So every year you get to start over and do it all over again. So just something fun and different to promote those makers. And for a lot of these brands that I'm talking about, like Kyle, you can go to the next slide. We do have even more videos. I could just fill this entire presentation with the amount of videos that we have that we've done, but I don't want to bore everyone, even though some of them are really fun and funny. Another campaign initiative that we did was Embark Montco. So for those who don't know, the National Dog Show is actually filmed right here in Montgomery County at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center every year. So if you're watching on Thanksgiving this year, or if you've watched before, that happens right here in Montco. And so we realized that those animals that, those very famous pups stay in Montgomery County because almost half of our hotels are pet friendly. And we did some research and we realized that there's this huge trend, not just in the pet industry, which people spend billions of dollars on their dogs. I have a dog, I know. I'd probably spend that on my dog alone, but it definitely increases too. Like more and more people have dogs and, or want dogs or getting dogs, and they want to travel with their pet. They don't want to have to board them or give them to a friend for a week or what have you. And you can do that here in Montco. You can stay with them overnight at those pet friendly hotels. And then you can also take them to our almost 100 miles of trails. We've got plenty of restaurants that are pet friendly, and not only pet friendly, they actually have menus where they have like homemade biscuits or things like that just for the dogs. So just again, something, and I would definitely go to embarkmontco.com and watch the video, because if you like dogs, it's adorable. Next slide. Access Montco. So this is another one where I normally show, this is a really impactful, powerful, emotional video. So I would definitely recommend this too. What we realized was we wanted to make sure that our website was inclusive and was ADA compliant. We were actually one of the first in the region in terms of CVBs to do this. And so when you go to our website, there's like a little icon. The font can be made larger. The print can be read to someone if they can't see. So whatever your need might be, we try to accommodate that on our website. And then we put together this video that talks about all the places in Montgomery County too, such as Elmwood Park Zoo is it's actually the first autism certified center zoo in the entire world. We have places like Colebrookdale Railroad. They have wheelchair ramps to make sure that, again, anyone who has a disability, has to use a wheelchair, can get onto the train and enjoy the ride just like anybody else, because that's really important to us. So again, that's another video I would definitely check out. Next slide. I mentioned our app, so you can actually keep going to the next slide because I feel like I talked about that. Definitely, download it, it's free. One of our other latest campaigns, and this is another one we did a video with too, is our Bike Montco. So we were actually going to do this pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and it actually ended up being perfect timing for us to put this together. So on our app and then on our website as well, we put together these turn-by-turn routes throughout Montgomery County, where you can follow along right on your phone, or print out I don't know if people still do that, directions on the website. And we worked with the County Planning Commission on this. And it's a great way to see the county. We're going to keep doing them throughout the year. Get out on your bike, just wear your helmet, make sure your tires are pumped up. And there's different routes for, maybe beginners, intermediate, a little bit more advanced. So far, we've done the main line, Bridgeport, which is very hilly, just to warn anybody. And then the park. And there are plenty of places in Montgomery County to rent bikes, such as the park. They're done for the season now, but plenty of bike shops in Montgomery County too, and hugely popular. Both this brand but just biking in general throughout the pandemic. It was a great way for folks to get outside, to see different things, change your scenery, get some exercise, fresh air. You can do it with the kids. So it's really great. And we put together a video with Commissioner Ken Lawrence. He's a really big proponent of biking, running, and especially our trails. The great thing about this is it can connect to trails throughout the county, but it's mostly on low stress, low traffic streets to actually ride throughout the county. So you can kind of see different things, and then you can start on a trail or end on a trail or anything like that.
Well, if you are lucky, you would see Commissioner Ken Lawrence out there on his bike. If you're really lucky, you would get to see Hakeem Jones out there on his bike, who is frequently on the various Montgomery County and related trails. And then you also might see Kyle Longacre passing Hakeem Jones on his new electric bike. So it's those hills are not so much an issue anymore.
That one, yeah.
That's right. That's right. But no,
well, we're gonna have to put you guys in our next video.
I'm on board. I'm on board. And Rachel, like I mentioned, as a young person, we really got a chance to learn the county through sports and just through traveling through different townships. But as an older person now, who's no longer playing football, the cycling community has been really good. Just the different trails, the connections, and even just finding, every day you figure out something new out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our trails are awesome. So if you haven't gone on one of our trails yet, please do. We have information about our trails on our website, valleyforge.org. The county itself has great information. So definitely check that out. And again, that's another example of a type of job too, like the park rangers, people who work within the park, the planning commission, people who work within the county, to put those trails together. Those are definitely jobs too. Actually, I apologize. I forgot to update this slide, but when COVID happened, we shifted to community-based marketing. We paused all of our advertising spend, and on social media, we were really just pushing, important information about COVID and also just like feel-good stories. So what we did was we put together this hashtag Montco Strong t-shirt fundraiser with all the funds going to the Montco PA COVID-19 Response Fund. And by the end of it, we actually sold more than 700 shirts and raised more than $25,000. And part of that was thanks to a $5,000 donation from the county IDA. So we really appreciate their support. And the other were just people buying t-shirts. I think it was a great way to raise money for those who need it. The money funnels through to nonprofit organizations who aren't getting the funding that they need right now to help people who are low income, veterans, homeless, homebound, any food insecure. So, and organizations that help those people through this. But it's also kind of a rally cry, right? Like, we are Montco Strong. We will get through this together. So we just got to keep on pushing. The sale is over, but I do have some shirts. If anybody wants a free one, let me know. I'll be happy to drop them off. Okay, Hakeem, send me your address. You got it. I'll drive it over to you. You can go to the next slide. Another thing that I wanted to mention too, in terms of the community, is that I also just didn't have a chance to add into this presentation. Every year we hold the Valley Forge Freedom from Hunger Food Drive. Hakeem, you mentioned how Pope Francis came to the Philadelphia area. He actually stayed in Montgomery County. And so what we did when he visited was, as a farewell gift, so to speak, we put together this food drive, and every September we collect canned goods or money. So this year what we did was we did strictly just monetary donations online. And our goal was, every year we increase the goal. So last year our goal was 6,000 pounds and we raised 11,000. This year our goal was 15,000 pounds. And it actually had been kind of ongoing since the spring, because when schools closed, kids weren't necessarily getting their most nutritious meal of the day because they weren't physically going to school. So we had started donations in the spring and raised a couple $1,000s, which is like several thousand pounds of food. So in September, we wanted to make sure we raised more than 15,000 pounds, and we ended up raising almost $5,000, which is the equivalent of more than 20,000 pounds of food. So if anyone out there is able to give or wants to share, that money goes through to the Montco Anti-Hunger Network. And I think there's like 40 pantries in Montgomery County. People are in need right now. People are struggling, layoffs. They do need help. So if you're able to help, or someone that's able to help, tell them to go to valleyforge.org/hunger. We're going to keep that donation link open through the end of the year because, with the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people are still in need. Some of those pantries saw a huge increase in demand, sadly. So we want to make sure that we're there for our neighbors in need. We take that commitment and that promise that we made very seriously. And this year was the 6th year that we did that. Moving on, as I said, Justine Garbarino is our Director of Business Development. Sorry, Kyle, you can go back one, I'm sorry. And I'll just tell folks a little bit about, I did put it in there. Whoops. Well, we'll get to that in a second. So some of the things that I talked about, the website, the app, some of the guides, the publications, our members, businesses that are members of our organization, have the opportunity to get discounted rates on some of that advertising. So that's what this slide is about, just telling folks a little bit more about that. And you can go to the next slide. I already talked about follow us on social media. And then I think the next slide, I apologize, I put it in the wrong spot. That's a little bit more just about our Freedom from Hunger food drive. To date, we have now raised collected the equivalent of more than 45,000 pounds of food. So, and we're going to keep it going. And I think that might be it. There you go.
All right. Well, Rachel, this has been an excellent overview, and I want to try to wind things down in the next 4 or 5 minutes here or so. But let me just make a comment or two, and then Hakeem, if you have any questions, I might have one or two myself as well. Rachel, you and I talked last week as we were prepping for this webinar, just how much we appreciate the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board as a storyteller and a voice of hope It's a voice of positivity, and again, for our schools, for our education partners, for our families within our community, this has been an extraordinarily difficult and unusual and unprecedented stretch. And we know for many of our hospitality and tourism businesses, it's been a very difficult stretch as we've seen closures and we've seen layoffs that have taken place. But just to keep, if anybody can make it through this, our region can, our county can. We have the collaborations, we have the partners, we have the good communication that's in place. And some of the soft skills I was writing down as well as you were talking, we hear this from business after business of customer service. Nobody does it better than Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Nobody does networking better. That's a soft skill that we want all of our students to be able to do. And again, if any one of us were to contact one of your team, you know someone that is going to be able to help us with whatever the ask that we have is in that situation.
And if we don't, we'll find them.
Exactly, exactly. And we just really so value that. So that's just a comment. I don't know, Hakeem, do you have comments or questions that you wanted to ask here?
Yeah, just a quick comment. The website and all the media is top notch. We help students find jobs all the time. We're on different websites, Indeed and Printed, the career link. I think your website and your promotions could even help students identify places that they want to work at. So I would encourage our high school partners and our educators, you're going to be able to see what's out there in Montgomery County in a visual aspect. So kudos to the awesome web development.
Thank you so much to both of you for the kind words and positive feedback. Truly appreciate that. And I concur, Hakeem, check out our website. We've got 650 members. So, and beyond that, so there are definitely tons of organizations that we can connect folks to, no problem. And then Kyle, just to what you were saying, our tagline for the Make It Main Street is Made Strong in Montco, because we are Montco strong, but we like to think we're more than just strong. We are tough. We're all going to get through this together. We just got to keep plugging away.
Well, Rachel, it's an exclamation point to the first 4 webinars that we've had. We've heard from our career link, and we know that our workforce team is helping get people back into jobs. We heard from transportation logistics from US Cold that we are going to continue to ship food. We're going to keep critical supplies coming. We heard from a manufacturer, Hardy Machines, last year that is making ventilators, parts for ventilators that are helping out around the country, around the world. And then again, the Montco Strong and the Make It on Main Street, Make It Montco themes that we're hearing from you, that we want to continue to persevere through these difficult times and into our winter months as well. So Rachel, again, on behalf of Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, MontcoWorks Now, MontcoWorks, Business Education Partnership Grant, we greatly appreciate your contributions to this series and to the entire team at the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. We really appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me, Kyle and Hakeem, and kudos to you guys for the wonderful work that you do, and especially right now. You guys are doing awesome, awesome things, and we need it. We truly appreciate it. Keep it going. You're rock stars.
All right, folks, check us out on the MontcoWorks Now YouTube channel. Follow us on at MontcoWorks Now on Facebook and Twitter, and look forward to future webinar series where we continue to feature other industry insights here within Montgomery County. So thank you all and have a good day.